This video is going to be a look at some Charlie Kolar film. I'll be honest with you, I thought it was the best game he's played in the preseason. Week 1 against the Eagles, I thought to be honest with you, looked kind of lethargic. I didn't think he looked like he had a super amount of energy. I love how the Ravens are utilizing him sometimes as a traditional tight end, 3-point stance. Most people nowadays call it an inline tight end. Sometimes as a flex tight end to the boundary. I believe that Todd Monken likes to put the tight end into the boundary often by default. Here you see him lined up in the sniffer mode where he's going to either ISO block the boundary side, front side inside linebacker. Ball's kind of in the middle of the field here, but I'm calling it the boundary because the ball is away from the nickel, or Kolar's away from the nickel. But in any case, he doesn't block the inside linebacker. He slides out into the flats. First time that the Bucs had seen this really hit them big. Ravens tried it again later. I think I'll show it to you, and the Bucs kind of ran a stunt, but it accomplishes its goal. Kolar's a part of it. Could be an Isaiah Likely thing, maybe a Mark Andrews thing. But what it does later in the game is it forces the Bucs to spin down their boundary side safety, kind of helps out, potentially the receiver to the boundary, or also, some climb concepts later on if that safety has kind of vacated the boundary part of the field. We're only going to look at about 8 or 9 plays. Let me know what you think. I think Kolar played quite well. There's one ball, which I think is the last play that I'm going to show you, where I think Anthony Brown could put it a little further out in front to give Kolar a better chance to catch the football. He's well guarded, but it's one that nonetheless Kolar would still like to catch. Completed pass here, gets contact from a defensive lineman by the Bucs, keeps his feet, uses a third point of contact on the ground to stay up. But nice job by Brown. Basically, it looks to me like there's a blitz here from an inside linebacker. So we're talking about this inside linebacker here is on the blitz, and Kolar just basically replaces him. The ball is I think Brown's actually waiting for a second to make sure that Kolar's looking, because you can see he's got his third point of contact on the ground to try to regain his balance. But tight end into the boundary, in this case 2 tight ends, Kolar and Vokalek, is one of the things, and I can't solidify it yet in terms of my observations, but it's one of the things I think that Monken is going to do a ton of, and manipulate defenses by tight end into the boundary and what the rest of the formation looks like. All right, back in the backfield again. I think this is the same play as the first one. Sniffer. I did a video on the sniffer set. I'll try to link it up top here. But I think that the Bucs have a stunt on here, and the Ravens are pass pro in it. We've had trouble with sticks blitz zero for 2 years, particularly in 2001. But that's basically what this is, and I think I talked about it in another video. You've got 7 guys lined up here. 2 of them are going to drop out. And when they drop out, actually that first inside linebacker is going to go with Kolar. When they drop out, it creates a trickle-down effect for the Ravens offensive line that's basically slide pro in this, and the running back picks up the edge defender, or the nickel blitzer, I should say, but their 88 is free. Kolar's trying to go through the B-gap, but the Ravens O-line has slid down, so he can't get free. Consequently, he's a little hesitated. Brown escapes, which is, an unbelievable play. But that's what caused Kolar to kind of hesitate trying to get through there, because he should go through the B-gap on that play, or at least that's the design of the play. Another somewhat sniffer look, but he actually doesn't line up, behind the guard. He's still outside the tackle, so just a slot tight end, A-gun. And this is a read, a nice read by him. Nice run by Owen Wright, don't get me wrong, but it's a F counter play, if you ask me, where the design of it, from what I understand anyway, normally is such that the guard is going to pull and kick out this edge defender. So once he's kicked him out, Kolar is going to wrap up to the second level, normally the front side inside linebacker. This case, they wrong arm it, they gap exchange it. So this DN steps down and goes underneath Salah's block. This linebacker scrapes over the top, gap exchange, that's why it's called that. And Kolar wraps around because he reads the wrong arm technique and he at least gets to 51. Now, 51 is just like most inside linebackers in the NFL. He's just a badass. So he's still able to get involved in the tackle. I think it was an 8-yard gain. So it was an example of him reading on the run on an actual run concept, which is pretty cool. They ask him to do a lot, if you ask me. Kolar up top here. I think this is the touchdown to Treadwell, I believe, on the 3rd or 4th possession. And he's just got an occupy route. He's got a route to occupy the safeties. Ravens last year ran a ton of, and this is somewhat related to it, ran a ton of snag smash out of running back to the same side of the Twins. So the running back out into the flats, the snag by the outside receiver, and then the smash part of it is, the third guy over there running that route there. Very similar to what the Ravens ran on the failed fourth down play against the Bills in the end zone last year, but to the opposite side, number one. And different personnel doing it, obviously. Now, the difference here is Treadwell has made it look like he's going to run the snag. And then since Kolar is occupying the safety, Treadwell's just going to go into the open space over top of the linebacker level. Cool play. I called it snag and go. Wasn't really a go. Coach Evans at Sip to Tally messaged me when I said something about it. He said it's jerk route. I'd heard that before, but it had been years since I heard it. But basically, you can see Treadwell is faking the snag. You've got the complimentary route out into the flats. Kolar threatening to run the smash concept. But in this case, he sits it down somewhere right around in here, around the 10 or the 12-yard line. And Treadwell's wide open. Ball's already out. Cool stuff. Ball's never going to be thrown to Kolar on that concept because the safety theoretically should be worried about him. All right, another sniffer set, and this time Kolar's down at the bottom side. Let's check out his blocking. He's on the backside. He's away from the intended point of attack, don't get me wrong. And Salah and Falele do a nice job just basically taking a D tackle and dumping him in their linebacker's lap. Kolar will be asked to do this occasionally. And as you can see in this video, this is why I picked these plays. He's asked to do a lot so far. He was the sniffer earlier on the pass play. Now what we need to see is we need to make sure that each guy, Kolar, Likely, Andrews, Ricard, whoever, there isn't some kind of pattern whereby we only do the sniffer run play with Ricard or Likely. But if it's Kolar or Andrews, we're throwing the football. That will be the type of thing we've done in previous years with our offense. I don't suspect that that's going to be the case here, but I'm just mentioning it to you because as Ravens fans and the Ravens players, they've dealt with that before. Same formation, same look, but a different player in a key spot changes the meaning of the play. Down here as a traditional tight end, but you can see the offensive line is clearly going to pass set. 3-point stance. He's going to get off the ball. This is the one that I think Anthony Brown, the good thing is Anthony Brown comes back to, I think, his third read here. 1-2 on the left-hand side, the bottom side of the screen. And I won't show you the end zone angle for various reasons, just the all-22. But this is a ball that I think needed to be thrown a little bit further out in front. It isn't terrible coverage by 26, but the throw makes the coverage look better, I think. I think the throw kind of brings it back to Kolar's right bicep. And if the throw was further out, maybe a little closer towards the top of the numbers out here, not too far, obviously, then Kolar has a better chance to catch it. But in any case, that's a ball that, Kolar would like to catch and we would like to see him catch. I thought he played quite well. You guys let me know. I don't know what his stat line displayed in terms of catches, yards, targets. That's one that, I'd like to see him catch, and he's capable of catching, but it's good for him to play against. This guy played well for the Bucs. He played well, and like I said, in a couple of other videos, I watched the Bucs stream, and Rondé Barber was raving about this guy, 26. I forget his last name, but he's played well for them in the preseason. And on this case, the throw from Brown, I think, allowed the coverage to look a little better than it was. You guys let me know what you think of Kolar's play in the comments section. Last two, I think this is one that I think the Ravens are going to utilize often. The Bucs cover it in a unique way, tight end to the boundary, short motion by Monken, meaning motion from one side of the field, but stays on that side of the field. So he's the outside receiver, is going to motion down, and the Ravens, have run a lot of this stuff in the past out to the flats, but in this case, it turns into a wheel by Kolar, and this edge defender is assigned to drop out. Why do I mention that? Well, if the Ravens are beating you with the tight end to the boundary, some of your coverage scheme is going to have to change. You're going to have to allot or account for that space. I don't know. This may be a typical Bucs call. Certainly, a lot of people play cover 3 with the boundary side edge defender playing the flats because that's what this basically is cover 3. And if you have the flat, you have the wheel. So 7 is taking the wheel. There's going to be opportunities to make plays on that concept to the boundary as long as we get something to occupy the corner. So what I mean is, now Kolar's going to motion down, so he's out of here. But something vertical to occupy this corner in the cover 3, and then underneath of it, so basically a layered wheel, if you ask me, or out and up. Vokalek caught one of these, I think, in the first preseason game against the Eagles. I've seen this route now 4 times for the Ravens, out and up, wheel, whatever you want to call it, tight end to the right, to the boundary, seems to be something that Todd Monken wants to use, and I think we're going to see it see attack there in general. All right, last play. Play action boot out of one back, kind of a holdover concept from last year for the Ravens. And we've seen it a lot with the run action going to the offense's left and the quarterback booting back to the right. So, we got to see it to the other side. But at least it's to the boundary here. You got the boot concept to the boundary. This is the boundary side, short side of the field, and that's the field side, the wide side of the field, if you will. Kolar is the slot tight end. He's going to block on the edge first, help out with the D tackle, kind of put 7 in some conflict here. You can see he's got a clear lane, but the cool thing about stuff like this is it's very wing T based. People aren't going to like to hear that, but it is, because you have 3 offensive players in a line, and the defender can't see the football at this moment. You've got the quarterback whose back is turned. You've got the running back, so it could be run away from number 7, and then you've got someone threatening you to cross your face. Very wing T oriented, if you ask me, because there's a couple of concepts in the wing T where there's 3 players in a vertical line for a moment, putting a defender in conflict. Kolar, as it is, blocks and then slides back out. Kind of a layered attack to the boundary side flats, whereby this is the first one, and really, to me, this is just bait to pull this guy out of here, and then Kolar just kind of sits and spins between the hash and the top of the numbers, drifts towards the sideline with the quarterback, tempos it, nice catch. That's going to get Lamar 6 or 8 completions this year. 6 or 8 easy completions this year that we didn't get a ton last year. Some of this stuff that we call, layups, easy completions, schemed plays is going to be there, and in this case, Charlie Kolar was the beneficiary of it. You guys let me know what you thought of his play in Week 3 against the Bucs. Thought he played extremely well, was asked to do a lot of things, and that's why I picked these plays to show you. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this video, please consider grabbing the link to this content, sharing it out on social media to help this video get more reach.